them, Carl Louise, Junie, and Marcella Liburd, who lost brother Tyrone. He was such a jolly good fellow and will be sadly missed. And all those who have lost loved ones as well. And as we continue in this throughout this COVID pandemic, yes, it still exists, and it has brought into focus for several months here in St. Kitts and the world over. It has brought into focus our health, and we've always heard that a nation's health is a nation's wealth. And this new year, this new academic year, has begun with the reopening of schools in St. Kitts, and I know the teachers showed up today, and it's my understanding that the students are required to report on a Wednesday, and we wish the students well, those going to primary school, moving on from the preschool, that's your foundation stage. And then we move those who are moving on to the second stage, the secondary stage, or the adolescent stage, as I said. And there's some I know moving on to the tertiary level, the final stage, that's the CFBC at some time. I don't believe the CFBC is opening this weekend, but the secondary schools and the elementary schools, or primary schools as we call them, will all open, and the preschools as well. And the parents, I know, are relieved, because I had Pierce Hodge, Permanent Secretary Vincent Hodge, was on this program, I think, a week or two ago, and he gave us the assurance, and many parents, I'm sure, are happy that their children are back out to school. And that's exciting.
At this time, principals are arranging the parent-teachers meetings. We are hearing the announcements on the radios, the radio stations. They were instructed by the Ministry of Education to convene these meetings by the 4th of September. From interacting with some parents, they are the majority, well, at least those who spoke with us, they are happy for the children to return to school. They wanted these students to go back to school since March. So I'm sure you would have one or two parents who would be genuinely concerned, but I believe that the vast majority of the parents are looking forward to the students returning to school. The early childhood centers, at least the government run centers, they are back in operation, and I made a visit to practically most of them, and the students were coming out, the smaller ones were coming out, but parents generally want the children to be back in school.
That's heartwarming that the parents are anxious to have their children back in school. I know some will be concerned, no doubt, but obviously it takes gives some relief to the parents. And as I said, the early childhood centers, or preschool as we call them, were opened earlier. Today the teachers went to both primary and secondary schools, and Wednesday the students are expected to, or are required to return to school on Wednesday. And as I said, in these times our focus, our health has come under the microscope, and as I said, a nation's health is a nation's wealth. And the declaration that a nation's wealth is a nation's health, or a nation's health is a nation's wealth, I should say, is as much a statement that is personal as it is a national concern. It is said that health is but a part of the economic planning in any country. Whether the country has a large economy or a small open economy like ours here in St. Kitts and Nevis. In every country, and I say good night to Bevin and good reporter there in the studio. And in every country, irrespective of size and there is, it seems, as an unavoidable genesis of ill health, and therein lies the struggle for governments to deliver health care that is affordable to all its citizens. And that feat is virtually impossible for governments, and more so our own team unity government, given the demographic profile of our country and the impact that such a profile will have on our national finances. Yes, we have a very young population, and many people are growing older as the health situation improves, and means health and social assistance becomes more important. The discussion has already begun in relation to the National Health Scheme here in St. Kitts Nevis, and this demonstrates that your team unity government understands the importance of the nation's health, and that is an integral part of the socio-economic framework of the Federation. But the proposition that the health of the nation is the wealth of the nation has a heavy focus, I submit, on national productivity. It suggests to me that one of the factors of production cannot be overlooked. Yes, we have land, even though the administration of 20 years ago swapped most of it for debt. Thank God for PM Harris and his team unity government. We have recovered some of that land in the name of the people thus far, I think 500 or 600 acres of the land. And Team Unity has also restored much capital through its budget process. But labor, which is the active factor of production, is, however, perishable, as some would say. While the human efforts such as physical exertion, mental exercise, and the use of intellect are applied in exchange for the economic reward and the wealth of the nation, my focus tonight would be on the environmental health of the Federation. For that reason, I submit that if we need to promote a healthy environment in order to prevent conditions that make it more difficult for a person to do certain activities or interact with the world around them, our health is our wealth. And what is being reported is not good for the Federation. Hearing reports like this one makes me feel uncomfortable.
I am asking you, please get the environment minister, no inspector on your program, or get a couple hours of your busy schedule, go around the town with him. It's very dirty, especially Mac Night where I am living. People who listening will say, if that's something to say, let them come to live or see where I am living. If nobody talk, nothing will do. But I have to talk. There is where I am living. That is one, the minister that dear get elected for. If the borders have to open up, they cannot and must not come back, meet the town like that.
Yes, and we need more than talk now, though. We need action to clean up those abandoned properties, for example, around town, in East Baston, Irish Town, all around the island. And all over we can find vacant lands left by owners in unsanitary condition. And they have become a perpetual nuisance and a clear danger to the health and safety of our neighbors and all those who live in certain areas. They are also an invitation to harbor characters who are inclined to transgress the law. What should be done to eradicate such breeding places for insects, rodents, and other vermin that are capable of transmitting and or causing the spread of disease? That's one of the questions I want us to consider tonight. In the USA right now, there are demonstrations to make the point that Black Lives Matter. In one city, a demonstration has been ongoing for over 100 days, imagine. Then what about our health? Shouldn't health issues matter for us? Should people go on to these abandoned lands, clean them up if our health matters, and plant them up for our food and national security? Is that good or bad? Is that a good or a bad idea? What should be done is one of the questions I ask tonight. With all these abandoned properties, all these abandoned and vacant lands that are running wild with bush and harboring rodents and other insects, my Straight Talk family. What should be done, I ask?
If we are dealing with health, we should deal with health right across the board. And I think our environment is very important within the scheme of things when it comes to health. We are seeing littering all over. We are walking through communities and we are getting, it's just in our eyes. We are walking by business places and we are smelling stinking scent. We are walking by government buildings and we are seeing sites that are, it is not pretty. Don't tell me that I am the only person seeing this. Don't tell me that we have people walking around blind. It is there. We ought not to be just concentrating on doing the little plaster cleaning. We have to get this thing stopped. We have to take it on the way we are taking on other issues when it comes to health. We're not doing enough. The question is, concerning what I am saying now, the question is, when are we going to implement what we ought to implement to make the nastiness decrease until it is no more?
And that's a pertinent question. Because according to the Public Health Act, Cap 9.21, every owner or occupier or person in charge of properties shall at all times keep such premises clean and free of offensive matter or refuse. And these abandoned lands or properties are a definite threat to our health and safety. The question therefore arises, when are we going to implement the law? What we ought to do to get rid or implement to get rid of the unsightly mess and get rid of the nuisance in our neighborhoods. We have officers. Officers need to get out from their air-conditioned bunkers and do their work. The drains are dirty. All around the streets, garbage being littered. And there are 16 officers. The chief environmental health officer has a deputy. There are 3 senior environmental health officers, 10 environmental health officers, and 1 cleansing supervisor. Are they adequate, you may ask, or are they doing their jobs? So these are some of the questions I'm going to ask tonight as we focus on our health and our sanitation. And as we said, let's be serious if our nation's health is our nation's wealth. That's my commentary for tonight, and I open the lines, my Straight Talk family. I'll entertain your calls and entertain your emails, but you will have your views, no doubt, on that issue, and maybe want to raise some other issue as well tonight. But what should be done to eradicate such breeding places for insects, rodents, and other vermin that are capable of transmitting and or causing spread of disease in this country? These are serious questions that ought to be answered. What should be done? Should people go onto these abandoned lands, clean them up if our health matters, and plant them up for food and national security? But something must be done. I'm going to open the lines and entertain your calls, entertain your emails. I always like to implore you, when I do so, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourself. Let's just try to be fair to all concerned. Let's just try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And let us, in the process, as we say and do things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, at 22 past 10 o'clock, I go to the lines. I missed that call and say caller. What's happening to these lines? Caller. Hope those lines are working tonight. But as I said, I open the lines and we go again to the lines. Caller, you're live.
The Honorable Patrick Liburd, good night. This is Sugar.
Sugar from down west.
Yes, man. You know.
Got you. Got you, my brother. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I'm good. And I just hope you are good too.
Yes, I'm
So,
peaceful, man. God's been good to me.
yes, that's right. And we're glad for that. These abandoned houses around town, some of these people went there for years. And they don't build house other places. They ain't want to live there no more. And some of those people, I think they died. And people just keep throwing garbage into them. Anybody have old bed or old chair, they just throw it inside the abandoned place. I notice it when you come across there by Central Street, by the Chinese supermarket, you swing down by your skinny tree. Cross there in the alley look terrible. Something needs to be done about
So
these things.
what do you think should be done, though? I'm pondering here.
Well, these places, they just want all down or get in contact with whoever. And you see, these places that you see abandoned, so people dead left it for family, but after you left it for more than one person, going to be greediness in the matter.
Okay. Got you, my brother. Thanks.
And I ain't done yet.
Sorry.
Yes, with Dr. Harris and the gentleman over in Nevis, you notice how they're trying to make a disturbance between St. Kitts and Nevis? You listening?
Yeah, I'm listening, my brother.
You see? So if they can't get the disturbance make one way, they try to make it in another way. See? They want, but Nevis people, they are not foolish. Nevis people are some sensible people over there. And let me say good night to one and two persons. Let me say good night to Culture, Mr. Politics, the 2-foot donkey from Sunny Point, and Lee over there in Boardwalk. So, how the politicians they treat you? And liberalize the foreign dollar, they mash up the country too. And what the bad boy police by name? And what the gentleman is doing name? Or one out.
Not for you, but my brother, you go back to the lines. Caller, you alive?
Yes, good evening, Honorable.
That sounds like the people's king. Good evening, my dear
Yes,
brother.
good evening. Well, this is a little input about the situation with the abandoned houses and different things. Now, but you know that a lot of people got these houses and it tie up in family feud, right? So what I think the government should do is address the building problem, who the building belongs to, go around and put a big sticker on it and saying, well, this building gonna come and push down if nobody come and claim it. When they come, any family who pay the money to the inland revenue, the government give them the property. With a warning, they got to clean it up right away and fix it up right away. You can't clean it and leave it there because you don't own it by now and let it come abandoned again. That's the only thing I could see solve the problem.
So who'll pay the cost to push it down?
Who will put the cost? The government got the rights to do that.
But who will pay back, refund the government?
Well, the fact remains, it become the government property when it pushed down.
Okay.
In the United States and so on, you buy a house. If the house burned to the ground, you can't build back on the house, you know. It gone back to the state. The land gone back to the state. Not to the developer, you know, to the state. You see? So these are things that we all the big building down there by government headquarters. We got so much rat and roaches and flies and all kind of things. And you don't even know what else dead inside there. I think the government should step in on those kind of things. Them there should step in on. If they don't want it, let the government thing it and make the whole of that government headquarters area. Everything petty or everything, instead of they're going from place to place. Push it down, put a nice building there.
Okay.
You know, so I think it will be done, you know. And Patches, let me explain something to you. They got some fake talk shows, right? And they're looking for problem. They have one thing, he's the host of the show, and he's still the guest. And they figure they could antagonize people when they call in on the radio program. You understand me? If you're not preaching what they're saying, they get insulted, which in them supposed to be the host of the show. But they're acting like, well, there is the thing of the show.
Okay.
You understand me?
Got you, my brother.
Well, you'll hear from me later.
Got you, my brother. Thanks for your input. Yes, at 29 minutes past 8 o'clock, Flash. It's not after 9, it's after 8 o'clock. My good friend Flash Cotton, Lawson Flash Cotton in St. Martin. And we're asking what should be done to eradicate those breeding places for insects, rodents, and others that are capable of transmitting and or causing the spread of disease. These abandoned properties, land running wild bush all around the country, and in particular in Bastia. Caller, you're live.
Yes, a very pleasant good evening to you, Dr. Ian Patches Liburd.
Your humble servant. You just came from the volcano.
Oh yes, everything is good up there.
Everything is good.
Yeah, the people up there say they want to see you.
I'm looking forward to go back home.
Okay. the ever winning Patches Liburd never lose. And lose cannot come near you. Now, Patches, you couldn't come with a better topic. And you hear what Alice and Ras Eliak's soundboy say? We have been talking about the nastiness around St. Kitts for years. Up to 3 weeks ago, a lady from there called and asked if there is any wharfing around, because the bushes and the nastiness, the rat and dead cat and all kind of thing in them abandoned place there, running in she yard. And we've been asking the program on Tuesday morning by Solid Waste, up to when Bridges and McCall were there on the program, we asked them to get the wharfing them from over the health center to come on the program, because we have a lot of questions to ask them and a lot of problems to point out to them, and not one of them put foot, and they're getting government money. I remember one morning after 11, I was going around the fort in a car. I mean, look, one of them wharfing around, they cock up in the car, in the cock up with the foot of weed. And the place, the hotel yard where he be there, nasty. A lot of them ain't doing their work. All the guts them in sink is got in things that people are throwing there. And they have to visit a lot of these business places. Find out whether could they just pay to carry the garbage over solid waste. McCall and Bridges used to do that, and they catch people. Now, what Rock just said with those buildings, we have been saying that all the while. Too many abandoned buildings. And a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. A dirty nation is a poverty-stricken nation. The government, if there isn't any law yet, the government should have a law. Your building has been abandoned for a certain amount of years. Get it out the way. Do something about it. Otherwise, the government going to push it down and give you a bill. Too many ugly building, nasty shut down building in town. In town, look where Port Zantebe and then New Pier. When people come up the place and they come to visit, they want to meet a clean place of entry. Broke them down. And who wouldn't comply? You carry them over by the square by Mr. Limo. Break them down, pass a law if there is no law. A law was passed in the House the last week for people who are smuggling things in the country. And me culture here, I do not like the penalty. The penalty is too small and too soft.
What if you can't find the owners, though? What you do?
Well, if you can't find the owners, you could find the land. Nobody could thief the land, you know.
Okay.
It's only me bring up my land from Anguilla. when they tell me get out of Anguilla, put my land in some plastic bag and I bring them. Well, anyway, the bill that they pass in the House, that is not good. Because when you go smuggling somebody in your country, that is illegal. And we don't know what they come with. They could get corona and say they get tests. They could say they get quick tests. And the quick test, such as what the quick test be. When we here now test them, the quick test is a waste. So our test will find out whether they're positive or negative. That bill, they need to step up and penalize Nego. No smuggle nobody in here. And no drugs and nothing. Patches, I'll come back. Let somebody else come in.
Thanks for your
Thank you, sir.
intervention. Thanks for your understanding. We go back to the lines at 27 before 9 o'clock.
Patches, good night.
My dear brother. John
Oh boy, interesting topic tonight. We talk straight here.
Yes.
Very straight.
Yeah, we talk
straight like a rule.
the truth.
Patches,
Yeah.
I want to tell you, he come to me like he with the Prime Minister like it, like the dirty nation think it, because for the time me culture, Alice, culture and other citizens talking about this kind of behavior where we get in. You hear Carla talk about bed all over the place, and this is sabotaging. This is blatant sabotaging. One morning I come in down see bed in front of National Bank. You can't go over, man, Patrick watching you, yeah? The Prime Minister need to bring Alex, the platoon officer down the department, bring them in here, and let me ask questions. The light here, the lady, you know? The lady, Patrick, the lady, long time since he do about that here. But all of a sudden, this thing people just doing as they like. Just doing as they like. After we should be doing, making sure that they execute the law. They're working. What you see going on is, by me get to talk in this country, you know. Every day some kind of old person come looking for who name jam don't come looking for me. And they gonna raise the problem in this country. Because we say we're going to do it different. I mean, sometimes I ask myself, young men like Alex them, we're going through the head, driving government vehicle up and down, newborn vehicles styling off and then watching them drain. Well, this is collusion. Have a good night. I'm going to come back.
Have a good night, my dear brother. Yes, as Ras Eli said, if he sees it, why don't the chief environmental officers and all the officers see this mess around town? Call you live.
Good night, how are you?
I am peaceful, my dear.
Thanks for the clip, and you should have played all.
Is this Alice in Wonderland?
Mr. Liburd, you have to play the rest in between.
Okay.
Liburd, when you settle down, please know who you got around you. Get your own secretary mind. You was a labor, we know. You come over to join with Pam, with Unity, and they should glad. So why Pam people following labor to fight you down and looking confusion with the Prime Minister up till now? 2 term, they could try 5 years. And why you? You was moving too fast for them. So they try to set you up to share your portfolio. But thank God you're doing something. Let them try again. You have your callers out here for you and still can't take it. Great is thy faithfulness, and the Prime Minister not studying them and is who working under him, don't want him. Shame on them. I'll be back.
Thank you very much, my dear caller. It's very interesting that topic always comes up, about Patches being a labor. But I don't know if we follow international politics, President Reagan was once a Democrat. He became one of the best, if not the best, Republican presidents ever. Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He was a Labour. He became one of the best conservative Prime Ministers ever in England. And the fact is, I want to put this straight for those who keep making that point, that for 22 years and 5 elections, Pam never won a seat in East Bastia. So then it took a Labour man to win a seat for Pam. At 25 before 9 o'clock, call you live.
Boy, let me show you something.
You got back
Some
here quick,
these
man.
Pam candidates, they neither understand the role, and they ain't trying to take the party to the another level. They're playing game. And they're going to hear it live from me jam down here. Because unity ain't going away, We ain't putting people there who can't perform, Labour, Pam, you people stars. If you can't perform, you will get called out. You hear what I tell you? It takes a Labour man to show us what he could do in public infrastructure. And you do it bravely, you do it wisely, and you do it with all your might. So don't bother with them. Let them go clean out the backyard and get things done in Sinkets. Because the days that are party shielding you gone and never to come back here. Have a good night.
Yes, have a good night, my dear brother. And as in the event you've just joined us, we are looking at our nation's health. And it is said It's a declaration that our nation's health is our nation's wealth. We wonder if that's only at all, because this is what...
If we are dealing with health, we should deal with health right across the board. And I think our environment is very important within the scheme of things when it comes to health. We are seeing littering all over. We are walking through communities and we are getting, it's just in our eyes. We are walking by business places and we are smelling stinking scent. We are walking by government buildings and we are seeing sites that are, it is not pretty. Don't tell me that I am the only person seeing this. Don't tell me that we have people walking around blind. It is there.
Yes, it's there, and we have to do something about it. What should we do about these abandoned properties? Should people go onto these abandoned lands, clean them up if our health matters, and plant them up for food and national security? What do you say, caller? Caller, you live.
Mr. Straight Talk, how are you? Good night.
I am peaceful, my dear brother. How is in New Jersey?
You sound very peaceful. You know, last week I think I called you last week, but I want to call you so bad, and I wanted to give Mr. Rara a message, because he said it. He said, look, if I win, we're going to transfer downtown. We're going to build a boardwalk. I said, look, hear what that guy is saying. So, me want you to give Mr. Rara a message. See, he have to start in town, but we also need him out in the country, because it's everywhere these abandoned building is, and people is gone. I know a building, this woman died, I can't even remember when she died. The house is still there. The house is still there. When are we going to do something? So, he said he's going to do something. I thank him for that. You know who is Mr. Rara?
I'm lost, my brother. Who is it?
What's his name? Donald Powell. One of those fella called him from Nevis and said, look, I want this guy to get in the house. And he hear what he said? He said, there's them talking about rah. So from there I call him Mr. Donald Powell, Mr. Rah. I can't wait to hear that man explore in the house, but time going to come. So Mr. Straight Talk, you're doing a wonderful job. We're going to get rid of this thing. We're going to fix this place. It needs fixing. God bless you. Thank you so much for bringing up the issue tonight. I'll see you when I see you. Keep holding on. God bless you, my friend.
See you when I see you, my brother. All the best as well. Go back to the lines, caller. At 20 before the 9 o'clock hour, you are live.
President, good evening to you. How are you?
I am peaceful. What? I haven't heard this voice for a long time.
Because we cannot get in.
You can't get in? Oh, my. I'm so sorry. I can see those dimples.
Oh, my God. I just say happy birthday to Mr. Eugene Hamilton. Wishing him all the best. And many more years to come on his birthday. And particularly I want to see dirty place, beach. Up here got a lot of houses with bush from them. I think you go hide in there, rain fall and you don't get wet. And up here, they say I must say the back before the health. And up here, look terrible, me I tell you. You have a good noise.
But they didn't tell me what we should do about them. They didn't suggest what we should do about them, though.
I really can't suggest what are you supposed to. They got the handle. If I pull and get caught, I just supposed to know.
Okay, my dear.
What to do.
Okay.
With that, you go ahead.
Okay, my dear. Thanks for your input. Someone said, don't plant anything on the land. We build a house. People in St. Kitts are in need of housing. What do you think? Call you live.
Yes, whenever you're talking about abandoned building. But look at Bastia High School. I walked there yesterday, and there's amount of bush cold down. So people do the act in government, and then you could talk about people on the land.
What,
you have a
okay, but before you go, are you there?
Yes, I hear.
Before you go, what should they do with that property you
Yeah,
spoke about?
yeah, I need to clean it up because a lot of big bush and everything cold. Wait, I got there yesterday. So when you're talking about abandoned building, you have abandoned past your high school.
Okay, so
Have a blessed evening and safe journey
before you
home.
go, you there?
Yes, I hear.
I agree wholeheartedly with you. What should you do about all those abandoned buildings
I
around
want clean up and
you?
put something in it, like somebody could have a workshop, some kind of thing. You need to clean up. A lot of government buildings like that there.
Okay.
Bush and all kind of thing.
Okay.
So you need to put the act and government first, and then you put it on the civil
Got you
people.
loud.
Have a good night.
Got you loud and clear. Person must set a good example. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night.
Good night, my dear.
On?
Yes, you're live. The whole world is listening to you.
A pleasant good evening, Mr. Patches.
Good evening, my dear.
Okay, tonight I want to touch on two topics briefly. One is with the abandoned houses. I think that something needs to put in place with those abandoned houses because they can cover, people can hide stuff in them, and, it's not looking too good at depreciating our federation. And two, I want to send out a strong warning to the entire St. Kitts and Nevis. If you don't like the Prime Minister, my name is Marshall Lewis, you don't like me. So who all do not like my Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris? Pass me straight and keep your wits above yourself. Last but least, Mr. Pattis, I make to understand that a Minister of Government went up to Nevis yesterday to have a meeting. I want to know the entire plot against my Prime Minister, but he shall not be moved. Long live Timothy Harris. And long live Team Unity Government. Pleasant good evening. If I get back in, I'll get back in with more issues.
Just in case you don't get back in, Marshall.
Yes, go ahead.
You said do something. What is do something? Something like what? With the old
Okay, about the abandoned houses?
Yes.
Get a group of people. It could be those step workers to break them down. Just bar them up or clean them up or something because there's depreciating our St. Kitts and Nevis. These all abandoned houses, ain't looking good. And in going forward, you yourself, when you was in government, you had this stoplight, etc. You make St. Kitts look new. So, in going forward, you need to, get the appropriate person, to get rid of all those abandoned houses.
Okay, got you loud and clear, my dear sister.
You perfect. Good evening and get home safe, my cousin.
Thanks a lot, dear cousin.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Always talking straight. That's one thing about Marsh Lewis. She's not going to talk out a bowling cup, as we say. Yes, that's a good idea. What about if the property is being abandoned and just sitting idle, harboring rodents, harboring all sorts of unsavory characters and so on, and put a time span to it before government moves in? Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Patrick.
Good night, sir.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, those houses that in the city that are like maybe the people in gone away. Okay, like they may probably like $100,000 for taxes. The only government got to ready if somebody go and pay up the taxes. They can own the building, or you all create a beauty vitality like in the city to get rid of those houses. And then the Virginia law for that if a building is in either ISO and you ain't paying the taxes, somebody can go in and pay the taxes, the government even assist them in helping them fix up the town according to the condition they build like at the building. They run down and nobody paying the taxes and they're just an ISO. Don't have laws.
No, we don't have those laws, but that's something that can be considered, one can also, acquire the property and if the owner shows up, do something with the property, the owner shows up and pay up the taxes, then if they don't, then you use the property.
Okay, that's what you get. Okay, you have and give like a 90-day warning, give them an opportunity to recover the building, sell the building. Because right now, if St. Kitts are picking back up and going into another drive, all those buildings in town could be in business, a small business, to somebody who want to make to vitalize the city. And I see you can have one part looking beautiful and the next part looking like you walk up some of the street and through the alleys, them so much business, I mean, like, could have been there instead of being an old building that nobody wanted to claim. They might have went to England for years and Canada never did come back.
That's right. You know, you wonder where the owners are. I mean, I don't have a property from since I was a small boy, just be abandoned there all the years, you know, and somebody.
Right. I think they put about 90 there, whatever days they want to put up, and then give them a warning, like exactly what the country gonna do. They're gonna vitalize the city. So all them abandoned buildings, you know what I mean? They're gonna start to make the family get in contact with them. Because once you put about a warning, they can't say they wasn't warned. Because like if I have an old car and the car now, the government will come and put a ticket on it in 30 days if you don't move it. You ain't licensed, you ain't registered. They're gone with it, and then they fine you, and you got to pay. You got to put the record. The government is not paying for it because your license plate number was on it, so they know exactly who to find. But maybe some of the people they made difficult to find them who own the house when they went to Canada, they knew England for years. But now this is the best time now because everybody are vitalizing the country and saying it's right now, like it's really in a power move right now, and it's an eyesore. Come Christmas, you know what I mean, you walk through the city, certain part looking beautiful, the next part looking like shit. Certain part look worse than Haiti.
Okay, my dear brother.
Okay, that's my...
Thanks for that. That's a different perspective. Very interesting one, you know. You put up a warning, 90-day warning. I don't know if that's adequate notice, but, you know, at least you've started somewhere. And you warn them that we are going to revitalize this area. So you have to take some action. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, good night, Ma. Everybody talking about abandoned buildings.
Caller, please. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You have a radio equipment, some sort of device.
Turn on your radio there.
Please, just turn it off. Turn it off before you start talking.
I'll turn it off now.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, everybody talking about abandoned buildings, right? But the government has a lot of abandoned buildings around too. The government needs to clean up their act too, because the government go around and rent other places for offices, which they need to fix up a lot of the abandoned building and make it offices so that they themselves will spend less money renting other people's place. Because I got abandoned building in Bastia too, which I need to get it cleaned up, but the government got to look into their act first, clean up their backyard, clean up all them buildings that they got, fix them up, and do something about that. Talk about that.
So you're saying that, and you're right, the government needs to set an example, right?
Yeah.
So the government is wrong.
Right.
And you have an abandoned building in Bastia as well.
Right.
So what are you telling the world, that two wrongs make a right?
No.
What are you saying then?
A wrong is a wrong.
So then, yes, the government should clean up their
right, and fix up theirs.
And so too you should do yours, don't you think?
Yeah, I should do mine too, but I don't have any money to fix it. But if the government clean it up for me, I would appreciate that, even if I had to pay them. But we got to look into the government backyard too.
But why don't you? I mean, if the government cleans up for you, pay the government. Why don't you pay a private investor?
Maybe I don't have the money right now. But if the government do it up, then the government could send me a bill and I'll pay it. But let's look into the government backyard too. The government needs to clean up their own, fix up a lot of these buildings. They spend less money because the amount of building that the government go around and rent every day or every year, and they cost, I don't know how much, maybe in the millions or thousands, and they left their buildings. Check out even down there where the ice plant used to be. All of those buildings there and the other one we used to pay bills out there, all of these buildings here could have been fixed up, make offices, and save money.
And caller, I agree with you, right? And I don't want to make any excuses, but those I mean, government, when Team Unity came into office, the government, we inherited a rent bill from our predecessors, the Labour government. It was $17 million per year to pay the rent. But those things can't just be turned around overnight, because
but you could start working at 1 billion at a time.
Ian Patches Liburd, agree with you, right?
Right.
But I also agree. I want to suggest that you clean up your property as well.
Yeah, clean up my property
Okay,
because
sir.
I am the silent ex. I don't really call in on these shows, but when I hear you all dealing out with every alley, then the silent ex has to creep in and talk his piece.
Whatever that
You
means.
understand?
Well, on straight talk, you could talk anything. Talk your piece
Right,
anytime.
right. So clean up your all backyard and then we go in the alley.
Okay, my dear brother. Thanks for
All
your
right.
input.
That's right.
This caller is suggesting that two wrongs make a right, but that's what straight talk is all about. Caller, you live. Okay, caller, you are live. What's going on with these lines? Then caller, you are live.
Yes. Patches,
So,
I am back again. Now, let me explain something to you, right? When you came into office, the first thing you done as a minister is clean up the whole of the waterfront area up in your town and put blocks and sand. Had people clean out all them abandoned buildings inside there. And then you put blocks to make it look like a neighborhood, like somebody living there.
yeah,
And cover up all that junk and sand. The gentleman just now, I don't know why he called in, but he have the right to call in. But you can't abandon buildings and blaming somebody else. Clean up your one first, you know, and then you can move on from there. You know, they're watching that they want the government to do everything. Yes, the government could do it, you know. And what the government need to do is bill out like how they bill and rent them out to people. You understand me? If you owe your taxes and the money and pay your taxes, the government could forfeit it right away. Because you owe the inland revenue for the land tax and different things like that. Don't care how much family was involved by what the case may be. And what the government could do is fix it and give poor people houses. Build them in upstairs and downstairs. No flat thing. Build them like what down the garden area and so on, what up on Wellington Road. Build things like them up there, so when the people come to see something nice along the area and so on. But I think you all are trying all your best. But I know you'll be back and you'll be pushing, you know, when you come back in there. So when you come back, I know you're going to take care of things. Because you're the man doing idle. You know what poverty is all about. And you know what cleansing and godliness is all about. And you have the love of the greatest Prime Minister in St. Kitts right now. Ever come in St. Kitts to make sure that everybody is equal. You know, God bless you, Patrick. If I get back, I get back.
God bless you as well, my dear.
But God bless the government and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
God bless you as well, my dear brother. You know, yes, we did in fact replace all those galvanized fencing on the Bay Road from Kenneth's Place, Alfredo's, I should say, all the way down the Bay Road. Yes, and put a wall fence and painted them white. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night to the Honorable Ian Patches Liburd. Good night.
Mr. Politics. Good night, sir.
Oh, Patches are trying hard, very, very hard. Some
You?
people say I got it easy. Politics are getting so easy. Patches, I start from number one. Anyway, Patches, thank God for Straight Talk. Because Straight Talk is the only radio talk show in this federation. Does highlight and bring the right thing to the ordinary man and woman who are going on in the federation. You understand? Patches, you got some people kind of different radio talk show. Every day. They come on and they make all kind of allegations and make all kind of, you know, division to set up this unity government. But Patches, I do not think they'll get it too. Patches, I want to tell Brother Rock, when you think call the name, because they're afraid. Mr. Ike, Patches, he going on like he's the biggest politician in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. You understand? And try to attack everything that people call in and say. If you know that you're supporting the government, he's going to engage you. But if you're not supporting the government, and you're calling and say things and nothing, you let talk. Right, Patches? And let me tell you something, Patches. Causing division. Now, I want to tell Ike, he's a young man still. I don't think he's 50 years yet. And he looks like he got a problem with the government, this unity government, and Dr. Harris. But Ike, since he is a part of the Labour, Party. You know, the Labour Party now die. You know, I don't think they're going to come back right now. All what Ike got to do like Dr. Harris, get 10 more men with him and form a political party and call it the Labour Party. You understand? That is the thing it needs with Labour Party now. And go and when an election come, go campaign and say what he want in this country. Because as far as I'm concerned, he do it when he talk show and he do it when he DJ. And just politics all the time, just causing division in the country. You understand? And listen now, talking about freedom and you know when you call in, oh the people like bash freedom and people this freedom and people like freedom. The government does support freedom. Up to election and coming on, government support freedom. So they're going on like all who call in for freedom must say everything what they say. But batches until the right, they want people, all of them, they want people like me for freedom. And Mr. Sylvain Henry. Because what? We don't spread the propaganda, we don't bring no fake news. And that is what they want. You understand? They want the fake news, they want the propaganda, they don't want nothing else. But batches, they don't hear me what's going on. And I want to, my fans in the diaspora who don't listen and act, say sometimes they don't hear me. You all will hear me on straight talk, you hear me on different talk shows, but patches, they have a problem with me on freedom, they have a problem with Sylvain, and patches, I won't engage them no more in this country because they're trying to destabilize the government, saying all kind of negative things. Every little thing you pick up. So, Mr. Ike, I tell you, I'm not afraid you. What you got to do? You got your big mouth. What you got to do? Come with 10 more men and form a political party and do what you got to do. Talking about entertainment and this and that and you know what's going on in the world. Oh, this and that and that and blah, blah, blah. Eh? So parties are wonderful, like God bless.
I am asking you please get the environment minister, no inspector on your program or get a couple hours of your busy schedule, go around the town with him. It's very dirty, especially McKnight where I am living. People who listening will say, if that's something to say, let them come to live or see where I am living. If nobody talk, nothing will do. But I have to talk. There is where I am living. That is one, the minister that dear get elected for. If the borders have to open up, they cannot and must not come back, meet the town like that.
Yes, that's a straight talker about the dirtiness in town. Call you live.
Yes, good evening. Honorable parties again. Mr. Politics, he talking, right? He need to get him out of house 6 because that abandoned building
Okay, I got that one, my lady. Caller, you're live. Okay, I seem to have lost that caller. Caller, you're live.
You got me? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
You got me, Patches?
Got you loud and clear, sir.
Well, since the corona come, every time some the agricultural people talk and even teachers and the Prime Minister talk, they're telling us must utilize every yard space we have in our yard and plant backyard garden. Well, all I can plant in my yard is cabbage. So, Mr. Peter, when you come to me, I'm going to give you cabbage. But Patches, it surprised me when I hear the kind of bill that you all meeting there for the farmer administration for renting building. And they had some building, they still have some building down Fort Land, who big labor activists was using one of them free while they were renting people buildings all over the place. And Carlo, you have a right to talk, but dance a yard first before you go abroad go dance. I want to congratulate the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Mr. Sean Kenneth Richard, for his vision in building a complex to house the police, the fire, and other things down in Sandy Point. Because from 1996, a building in Sandy Point was rented for the police and one of the former minister went down there and he cursed Pam, abused up Pam, said, look where they got the police in that old shaggy building there, and they renting that, they gone across, they go rent that. And I gonna build a police station down there, nothing tall happened down there so like that. Congratulations to Sean again. And that same person who was in that government, when they get in there, they look at Irish Town, they say they're going to demolish all those old buildings from there and make Irish Town look like what you call it, the townhouses, break them down up to now, not a cranny knock down there. So when you see them going out, them cursing and abusing and saying all manner of evil about you and the Prime Minister, look what they start pan. When you get in here, they're going to talk about you're going to sell cement. And you get your cement them for build the pier from the place over Canary. Build them, you ain't had no kind of cement, nothing. And they accuse you. Look what you do. You put up those townhouses of Wellington Road. And if those broke down, those rotten houses in town, they break down, you would have put some building in town that people could live to. The yard they have to be so big, you could go up in the ear, space in the ear. So, and those politics, do like what the Prime Minister say, even before the Prime Minister come on and say, when you hear them play rubbish, turn off your radio. Well, I don't move me dial, because I don't listen to trash. I don't walk solid waste. My ear them is to hold on my glasses and for me to hear constructive, enlightening things. Me not listen to rubbish and garbage. Anybody who talking bad about the country, they are not patriotic. And I want the government, don't give whosoever that person is cussing the government every day, don't give them no more job to play no music. Well, Patches, I understand now for the COVID, a lot of people buying up a lot of alcohol because the alcohol perform even better than some of the things. But I don't know if they have toothpaste in the supermarket. If they have any in there, I want you to buy some for me, Patches, when you go in there, because I am not allergic to toothpaste. Thank you, Patches.
I'm talking in code, my brother. At 9:05, Patches, this message reads, I must express my concern with regards to the manner in which our people, inclusive of the authorities, are handling this pandemic. Daily I hear marketing ads being aired with respect to functions catering for bands, DJs, and of course lots of crowds. It is either the high command is aware and has given permission for these functions, or the promoters are advertising these functions with a view of breaking the law. Whatever the case may be, as far as I'm aware, we are still in a pandemic and the remaining rules of the curfew still apply. How can rational authorities be so haphazard in enforcing these rules? We have to understand that not because there are no cases on St. Kitts Nevis, let us not be foolish and allow our guards to be let down just for the sake of a jam or an evening of display of bath suits. Law is there, let us enforce them, reads this email. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller?
Yes, what politics was just saying, he's so right. Today they're going on so bad and going and abusing the government, and people calling in, abusing the government. And Miss Henry tried to call in to talk, and he want to bash Miss Henry.
Yeah, so why are you giving this man so much credence on Straight Talk? I mean, he's not worthy of being spoken about tonight. Do you think so?
No, but I mean...
Yeah, so just forget him. Just forget him.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah, but I'm not... I mean no disrespect to you. But I'm not interested in hearing about him. And I'm sure the audience is not interested in hearing about him. He knows no better, so why are we wasting time with him? Just forget him, like you said. As politics said... Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, but we don't need to give him any credence on this show. He's talking... nonsense. Just forget his nonsense. Don't promote his nonsense. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patrick, good night.
Good night, sir.
My deepest sympathy to the Liburd family concerning Tyrone Liburd, and different things like this year. Anyhow, I have it this year to say, Patrick, concerning the abandoned building. Them. I think at the school, right, we can clean up that property. And we can put in a museum up there and make it a parking lot for people, because we have a lot more cars and let the people then pay for parking and different things like that. Also, this morning when I was going to the beach, I found a young man who is heading garbage by the ferry terminal by the bridge there. Yeah, in his Sempers. He said I must tell the people that then his Douglas family is who doing it. he had a trolley and different things like this here. And he was bringing them from up a road. He ain't coming from off the compound. The garbage is not coming from off the compound. The garbage is coming from up a road. And things like this here. And he had several big bag of garbage and different things like that there. I do believe that then me and Jam down, and the authorities need to make a step and make him an example.
Okay.
Because then we need to clean up the Basti area and different things like this. Concerning the abandoned houses them and different things like that there. I find out a lot of people using them for garbage areas. I've been taking pictures with them and different things like that. I find that people been using them abandoned houses for garbage and waste and different things like this here. So we need to do something. We need to get somebody to be in charge of these abandoned places and so forth. Clean them up and so get containers, clean them up. I'll go get a group by the environment people them to clean up these abandoned buildings and then fix them up, paint up the walls then so long. Then put a notice on the people and whoever. If the people are in England, we have computer now reach all the way to England. We have computer reach all the way to Germany, Russia, all over the world now. So, and plus we have Facebook and different things. Well, since we could use Facebook for all kind of slabbiness and all kind of nastiness and different things like that there, what we need to do is to notify the government out there and things like that in these different areas to let them know that these people have property here and we need them to either come for the property or we send them a loss, we take their taxes and different things like that there and build up the places there. Understand? The government need to start doing something because we need the front line to be looking good and different things like that. But otherwise, have a good night and may the Lord be with you. Safe drive home. Peace.
Thank you, my dear brother. The Lord be with you as well. Caller, you're live. Okay, let's take this call. Caller, you are live.
Hey, Patches, good evening, my friend. How are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Great. I'm getting a little late to the show, but I'll check it out on YouTube. No, about the buildings. Land rights is very important in, any democracy, people's land. What you guys need to do, and there's not a better man who could lead it than you, get this committee. They're going to go check all the abandoned buildings, see the people who own these buildings, right? Try to contact them and send them a note letting them know that we're going to be taking care of it, we're going to be cleaning it, and we're going to give the cash to you. When the money gets up to a certain amount, you don't hear from anybody, the building going to be forfeited because they're not. But what happens now, people have also become not a very clean people. So you got some of the same people walking around and they own these same buildings. And this is what it is. They've been talking about this thing for donkey years. We're going, I stop in America, hear them coming here, spend time, hear them talking about it. And you got to remember, the Denzel Douglas government, those are lost 20 years at least. Done with. They were too busy thieving and robbing. Thieving and robbing the people. So forget them. We see what you do. Ain't you all going to like keys and so? Over there, stick and spank, the road is nice, what you did. So, Patches, maybe you might have to lead it. No, the first place you have to start is on the Bay Road. They bring people down to the Bay Road. And right there by Webster and all this, even by the market, it's dirty and filthy. The little bathroom there. They don't need to trouble those people from Guyana on the street right now. You take them off 4th Street. 4th Street is dying. Put them on the Bay Road. But you need a decent market. But all down by Webster going on the Bay Road, the tourists going on is all old buildings. The War Memorial, that's a place that could need to be rehabilitated. And the government don't even have to spend money. They could go to England, go to America, and go to these war people, and they'll give money. They'll give you money to fix the War Memorial. That's a place where a lot of people go, that War Memorial down there. But the Bay Road, start with the Bay Road, is dirty. Irish Town, dirty and filthy. I mean, there are things we have to get, but they've been talking about this 25 years ago. No, you're talking about it. We know things will get done if you think. No, Patches, let me ask you a question. What are you guys going to do about across from the bus stop? I mean, I know you're the man with the brains and you probably have provision, but there's going to be nowhere for the people to walk on the sidewalk there by the new bus stop. Beautiful place. What are you going to do? Are you going to where they're going to walk because there's no space on the sidewalk by the bus terminal.
There is a sidewalk on the
On
right,
the other side, right?
right or left, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, left. And they might have to expand. It's not much way to expand. They're gonna have to, otherwise everybody going to be walking through that bus station. You know, somebody might get run over. But the people, our people have not become not a very clean people. This is what this is. A lot of those people with those buildings. So we have to get if I see you then another mean business. But without you, ain't nothing going to get done. Well, that's what I think. But they have to do that. They have to clean up. Start with the Bell Road. You carry the tourists down there. By restaurant down there. Filthy, dirty place. Let us start there. So it's up to John now to do that job. He say he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Let's see what he do. But you're going to have to stay with those guys and guide them. Otherwise, nothing gets done. You got to remember, the Douglas Mafia Labour Party was thieving. They had a man in the building board who they had robbing people. Okay? It's you, Patrick. Without you, trust me, nothing would be happening. And I don't want them, but it's a fact. There was this, the boy was using Bacchus and Nichols, giving them fake news. He's a class A manipulator, the boy from the building board who you all fired, the low-life scum, who you all fired. He was manipulating Bacchus, and they don't have the sense, but they couldn't get you into it. They couldn't get you to go along with their criminality, okay? But Patrick, if you're doing it, the people going to feel good. If you ain't doing it, you're going to have to hold John's hand. Now, one last thing, Patrick, and the people might agree with me. It's a pity that you didn't get to talk to that gentleman. Could have been something to save Sinkits. Could have been something to save your coalition. He knows things, that man, okay? And he respects you. That is why he came to you. He didn't go to another radio station. He wasn't going to go to Win FM because they're corrupt. He wasn't going to go to, he came to you. I think you should have still given him a listen, you know? But it's okay. It's up to you. That's your, maybe a lot of other dynamics involved that you didn't want to. But let me tell you, the man knows things. He has things he wanted to tell you. But it's up to you. You must know best. Okay? But let me tell you, Patrick, let them start on the Bell Road. This is all on Johnel now. You could guide him along and help him along. But nothing much can get done without you. I'm telling you the truth. That is why it is. Patrick, have a good evening. We'll talk again.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. I thank you for the commendation, but no one is indispensable. Ambassador, good evening, Patches. Lord, I'm glad you did not go to breakfast with whoever that man was that wanted, I'm sure, to harm you, but God love and bless you. No weapon can harm. Patches, independence for Nevis is back on the menu. The Premier is firing up the SOBS around him. He has done nothing for Nevis with all that money. Senkit sent over, a friend told me, a lot of money. He's in legal fees. I'm told he's I don't think we need to go there, my dear brother. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
Yes, Honorable Mr. Ian Patrick, I was apologize for that to you.
Mm-hmm.
And good night to the listening audience right across the planet.
Good
really.
night, my brother.
How are you doing, sir?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yeah, I enjoy the program all the time, and I'm happy to be on tonight. But I don't want to be long, but in terms of definition of abandoned building to be defined as a property that is up to date with duty and taxes, land tax.
Well, I mean, I think that's you speak about the building itself.
Yeah,
if you're paying your taxes, that is meaning not abandoned.
Okay,
but if you're paying your taxes, then they know the owner, and then the environmental health officers ought to approach them and execute the law.
Yeah, but at the same time, I just wanted to make the definition that if somebody is paying the land tax and the duty and the property or whatever, it cannot be abandoned.
Of course not.
Okay. Thank you for that, because at the same time, I'm going to move on to another aspect of the situation with the abandoned places. Because a lot of these situations are in court too. And at the same time, I don't think the Indian Revenue Department is moving with the strength. As the authority, as the caller before indicated, what needs to do is a broad-based committee needs to be in place to address the situation here. And the Indian Revenue not moving with the strength to deal with it. So That's what I suggest. Rather than move the strength to collect the yearly land tax, I think they could move with a broad-based committee with the legal department and other different even community people to make them to understand what's going on and get an overall understanding. Because these lands are on, you could see them, not in a sense, well, in your field, but you could garner a computer, you could see each piece of land and think it. That's what you could do, so you could identify who they belong to. So that's where you come down to, and that is easy. So that they don't have a problem solved. However, they got to understand is put something in place to solve that situation, you know. So that is difficult. And just to finish up and then just to talk about the situation, because that's what you talk about the caller. And a few callers talking about a particular person. But I don't think they should really talk about the person because at the same time, because if you make effort and then make effort more than one time and you fail, adversely you're going to actually be talking and you're going to talk like you're losing it. So I don't even think they're supposed to be focused on that kind of situation. Because as a listener, I don't take part in that kind of situation. Yes, have a good night.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother. But the law actually mandates the Public Health Act mandates every owner or occupier or person in charge of properties. It says shall at all times keep premises clean and free of offensive matter and or refuse. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Hi, good night, Patches.
Good night, my dear.
Okay, yes. I want to say this tonight to the whole Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We all have to thank God for the Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, because nothing was doing for Pam. I am a born politician in this politics since around James Buchanan. When he was running, I used to be up on the school girl behind James Buchanan. And I know the facts. When I come here, I talk the facts. Nothing at all was doing for Pam. Nothing was doing for CCM. And a lot of people in St. Kitts and Nevis only voted for those Pam and CCM because of the Prime Minister. Because we love the Prime Minister. My children and I only vote for Pam because of the Prime Minister. And who is harassing themselves for Prime Ministership? They have to wait. Because I know how we dog it rock on. And if they cannot wait, they're not going to get it. So he from Nevis who want to plot all kind of gimmicks and shit against my Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris. If Prime Minister Timothy is in this, a man of God, his name is twice in the Bible, and he shall not be removed. The Prime Minister is a man for the people, and the people love Dr. Timothy Harris. I'm very passionate about this tonight because I'm fed up of being fed up of how they tarnish my Prime Minister name. Wait your turn if you all want Prime Minister. You all need to wait your turn. The Prime Minister will be Prime Minister 5 years. 5 more years. And it could be forever because he fits the job description. He's a man who loves people. He's a man who run this federation without fear or favor. Look at his six. Labour, PAM, NRP, CCM, everybody works get sick. Look how look up the $100,000 program at Social Security. Mr. Liburd, this Prime Minister was ordained to be this Prime Minister in such a time as this with this COVID. He know what he is doing. I am appealing to those who is hungry for Prime Ministership to tell them, wait. They that wait upon the Lord, that he shall renew their strength, and they shall mount up with wings like eagles. And I make you understand somebody have a problem because I say, if you all ain't like my Prime Minister, you all ain't like me. If you all ain't like Dr. Timothy Harris, you all ain't like me. I used to be a Labour, and I know what's going on in this federation. I jumped ship because of bad treatment from the Labour Party. I love team unity. I love my Prime Minister, and I'm a member of the People's Labour Party. And Mr. Patches, let me send out a strong warning to the entire nation. I tell you all already, if you all ain't like my Prime Minister, pass me straight. And I don't care who anybody say on the Freedom Wall, on the Facebook. If you don't like my Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, don't like me. Because Prime Minister is me and Miss Prime Minister. I love the man. because he have a good heart. He have a good heart for the poor. He looks after people well. He looks after St. Kitts and Nevis. And I'm not going to trade Prime Minister for nobody else.
Okay. Got you loud and
You
clear.
have a good night. And I will get back in because of Patrice. I'm not sure he went by digital today and I paid $33 to get my call for me to call in on my phone. This is what I did because I know tonight is straight talk and I want to call in. So I take the call to call in. You have a pleasant good night. I will get back in.
Have a good night as well, my
You too,
dear
sir.
sister. That is what Straight Talk is all about. We talk the truth. Don't be too offensive. Don't be defamatory. Don't be libelous. But talk your truth. Call you live.
Hello, good evening. I just wanted to clarify something. You used to be the Minister of Infrastructure?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And who is the new Minister of Infrastructure?
Deputy Prime Minister Sean Richards.
Okay. And I think that Sean is a hard worker and he will do a good job and he will follow in your footsteps and he will get the front of the Bastille cleaned up. You know, I just believe that Team Unity will continue to work, but at the best front, it really, really needs cleaning up. And especially the market has to be modern. I went to the Amway Bakery just the other day, and what beauty. I really like to see the new Rams supermarket of Buckley's. And it's that kind of idea. Not, just preparing it just for it to look just about the same. We make it modern, really looking fresh. I think that will make a big difference in our country. And of course, when I went over that arch, I look at some youngsters looking at the water, the still water there, you know, between the street and the ocean there, just sitting there collecting garbage. I think something can be done about that too. This is urgent now, and a lot of people have been calling for it. So hopefully, you know, your work will continue as with the new Minister of Infrastructure, Honorable Sean Richards. I know he'll be on top of it, and that could be done expeditiously. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, my Straight Talk family. We need to promote a healthy environment in order to prevent conditions that make it more difficult for anyone to do certain activities or interact with the world around them. Our health is our wealth, and what is being reported is not good at all. Call you live.
You forgive the feedback. I didn't want to miss a word. You're still online?
Yes, but you just turn your equipment or your radio.
No, I move. I'm sorry about that. I apologize.
I want the whole world to hear you, sir.
I know. Where must start? I'm going to start with the political scene. You know, Unison, with this Westminster style politics, with Nevis. Stay in Jamaica and hear that a government form in the first election when this government changed and this unity government. And unity, you see the word there, unity? You know what it means? It means unity, you know. It means what it say, UNITY, Rasta, that's say unity. But maybe you know unite. You know, just a culture. Anyhow, let me come out for that. I know you're doing it in public. One time you had to defend and said the gentleman that said there's no nothing going on, there's no division. But when you bring this thing in public, you know, you try to defend and said it, no gentleman said, no risk, everything is all right, unity, good to go. But we know, me talk about the nastiness. Me know what about the pity of the nastiness we are going on.
I'm afraid, my dear brother, you need to top up and come again. We seem to have lost you. Caller, you're live.
Hi, good evening, Patrice.
Good evening, sir.
How are you? How are you,
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yeah, you know the voice, right?
You too lie.
Oh, you know, what's going on? Okay. Well, I got a little problem here in the workplace we're working. Well, why? I don't know. You guys need to talk to Bill in this bit here because this guy do a lot of stupidness, and the other day we run out of millennium thing yard. They call it, boy. Molino has not the hospital, the health center yard, and he know we're supposed to get weekend work, but me can't take on that because you make everybody lose money. So you need to look into that. So I need to look into that here because he top people from Zone 7 who get weekend work. What's that, Mikalai?
Okay, got you, my brother. Yes, my brother. Thanks a lot. At 29 past 9 o'clock, call out your live.
Patrick.
My lord.
Boy, let me show you something. Saturday went market, you know. And where you see going on down there, you see behind Bible them, behind Frenny, everybody bringing garbage from up Orishon and bringing it down by the market. A lot of girls want to practice to be truthful, you know. Me can't understand what's going on with these supervisors that got around here. It's supposed to come and clean in the beach. Right where the fishermen them be and people. But that is by the shame, you know. But we can't work with this kind of behavior here from these workers getting government money, you know. Man, something that they do better than this, man. We can't go down the road with this kind of business. People just littering the place and care. Look at down by the main eatery KFC down there. The drain, some people come, take pallet, cover the drain, the bacteria can't expose out the drain. And you're going to anytime criticism doing these things. But that's what we work for. Is these kind of things we work for? I work for better health system in this country. That's what me jam down here work for. And the wickedness and the dirty boy Douglas where we had here, that's vanished. And if people feel like they're going to collude and bring back that, they could tell them they got a handful with me. So I will fight against any one of them, big time. Let me show you something in the patches. Where I sit down there by the market Saturday morning, man, approve of that, you know. And my Prime Minister got to do better than this, you know. Bring Alex and your program. You choose the program, bring them. We have questions for him to answer. Otherwise, go back to them old fellows and bring them. Go back to these old fellows and bring them. Patches are done for the night.
Thank you, my dear brother. Always so passionate. Caller, you live at 29 before 10 o'clock.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
I am peaceful.
Yes, I'm doing a follow-up call. I don't know if you did get around to look into the matter with the test kits and stuff like that.
You know, caller, I'm afraid I did not. It crossed my mind late this afternoon. I'm afraid I did not. But have you spoken since with the health department?
No, well, I was supposed to get a call from the CMO like since last Tuesday. Tomorrow's Tuesday again, a whole week. And now all I'm getting a text saying that she's going to call me shortly. And nothing. So, you know, I'm just trying to find out why, you know, in simple terms, you're accepting the kits, but you're not accepting the test results. That's how I would really like to know.
Okay, you know? I think I got you. It was
and I got this too. A citizen of this country who went up to North America, Canada, Anguilla, wherever they went, before the borders were closed and wasn't able to get back. I am one who feel that they shouldn't be doing a test over in Anguilla, Jamaica, whatever, to come back here. When the results from the test take so long before they can receive it, you could don't contract COVID again. and then to come home to do another test again. And even to that, when they come, whoever come home, they're going to go in isolation, quarantine. So when you come here, you pay the test here. You get the test here. Don't get a test over there to come here to get a test again, to wait and get another test again. I don't think people got so much money. Man, I don't think the authorities work it out kind of right, but they might think they got it best, but that's just my portion I say in there. But yeah, I was listening and looking forward. I thought I would hear that.
I apologize, my dear brother. I will see if I get any information. It would help if you as well try, but I will try if I get information.
Yeah, man, I'm making so much calls. I calling since Tuesday.
Yes.
When I heard the news Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock Tuesday, I called the ministry trying to find out. Nobody seems to could answer. Everybody is just foreign to everybody. What I'm saying.
I will try to glean some information for you. You said they accept the kits but not the results. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so I'll try my utmost best to provide information for you. Okay.
All right. Thanks much. Have a good night.
Thank you very much for your input. At 27 before 10, I'll call you live.
Yeah, Patches again. Patches, a lot of us, right, running the opposition line. And that is what they want to hear. You know, division line, deception line. You understand? Patches, I just calling on the unity supporters. Not calling and say nothing where you call substantiate. If you can substantiate it, you call in, you start about it. You understand? If you want to do it. You understand? This knee will sink its thing back and forth. Patches, you never hear me attack this thing. What me say? Nevis people are educated people, they are sensible people. They know when this unity government get in, how good they treat Nevis. And I know that Nevis people will never turn their back on this unity government. Patches, I want to talk about the nastiness in town. And the abandoned building them. I call in to the minister even before he get in, you know, Mr. Daniel Powell. And I speak to him about it. And I tell him plain, if he just investigate these houses and so these abandoned building and all these abandoned land in town and do what he got to do, he will in government all the time because that is where you want for a city, a town, your city. You understand? Because for years, these abandoned buildings there, doing all kind of things, people hold out of them, do all kind of nasty, you see them chuck garbage pan the land them and everything. And he young still, he just newly gone in the government. And I just tell him look into that. Patches, but still, they got to go in the bill, go pass, they got to go in the house, go pass some bill. To do it legal. Because they can't go in and do illegal things. Because people could still go and go to court and take them to and make government pay money too. Government can't take people land like that. They'll go in the courts and pass the law. Said who all got abandoned buildings in town, do this, do that, where the government will do that and we want access to do and sing them and then value them and then sell them or do something with them if you want to land them. And that's what will get clean up. You understand? He young there still, so I'm going to try to what after him and try not after him. So all of you man who causing these people coming and causing division, and you are like you are strengthening them. Don't do that, man. We's unity being on stay. You got us to what they do it first when we get it first they do it. They tried that's only 3 months, that's only 6 months. And we move on and we went on. Dr. Harris is the man. And regardless to what, somebody must have to succeed Dr. Harris, regardless to what. We ain't going to be like this, the opposition leader now, who want to join the boots. Look what they bring the Labour Party to. Bring them to nothing. Young, brilliant doctors, and brilliant musician and brilliant man, who was there surrounding him, young man. Look what they reach. Patches. Okay. Patches, God bless unity, and unity all the way. One love.
One love, my dear brother. Let's go back to the lines at 24 before the 10 o'clock hour. Caller, you live.
Actually, just me quickly. I was reading something, and Bermuda is doing it now. And if you could let the Prime Minister know, I think Barbados jump on it also. What you could do is the people who are well off in the States, and they, they want to be able to log in at home, but they don't want to be walking around where there's a lot of COVID-19. So what they do, you all could give them like a visit for a year, make sure they're all clean, coming in, and you all do quarantine, and then they can live in Sinkit for a year. When they could log in, they'll be flying back to the States, or wherever. And it's a lot of money to make out of them. I mean, the taxes, the place, the rental, most likely they live over on the peninsula over there, that area. And you guys can make money. Barbados is charging them $2,000. $2,000 to get that visa. Bermuda is charging them like, just talk to the Prime Minister, see if you all could get into that too, because that's how we are making money too also, since you're opening up the border, And, find out about that. Barbados is doing it, and Bermuda is doing it. So you guys can probably get into it. But just, that's just everything seems to, it's not just, you just think you don't have the feel since you're in that position. You just don't have the feel, think it, And, hopefully you get going again. Cause you and Dr. Havisub done wonders for Sinkit. Wonders. These people were robbing us blind, man. Thank God for you two guys especially. Okay, now another thing here, you and Dr. Harris always saying, oh, Sean can be the next Prime Minister. Who says Sean is not a king? I mean, and that came to the Labour thing, the Labour, the thing room, the boiler room. And it came to my mind, why is he walking around with this mohawk thing in the middle of the head? That's a good example for the young men, right? I agree he's thing, but you're a minister. Well, you need that mohawk thing down the middle of your head. You don't look serious with it. Okay? Get serious, Sean. Get rid of that mohawk. Have a good evening, Patrick.
Okay, my dear brother. Have a good evening as well. Well, you're entitled to your view, your own hairstyle. I'm sure he's entitled to his as well, don't you think? Good night, Patches. I must give you credit for the bus stop on the Bay Road, but I would like to see that by the seats in the terminal, some garbage bins be put down close to some of the benches, and please ensure that Mr. Richards ensure that no sleeping is done in the night. The actual bus stop is beautiful and very attractive because it is really an added attraction to the area. I would very much like to see a facelift given to the bars down at the bus stop, because some of them are not kept very well. Please hurry and get your seat assigned to you, as you are truly needed in the government to finish all these unfinished projects. Perhaps I tuned in late. I did not hear the tape you played. Please play it again for me to hear. Read this email. Caller, you're live.
Hi. I would like to know when the new bus terminal will open at the
I'm afraid
ferry terminal.
I'm afraid I'm not in the position to tell you that right now, my brother.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Sorry about that. Good evening, Patches. It's rather interesting and timely that you mentioned the abandoned houses, for it was just last Saturday that I brought up this issue with someone. As a couple of callers have indicated, a lot of these houses are wrapped up in family issues, or maybe owners have died or migrated. I agree that government should step in, give proper notice, and if no response to the necessary, whether or not it means demolition or otherwise. The government needs to ensure, too, that the people who are employed to keep the country clean do their work. In my area, the drain cleaners show up once every 4 months and hardly does any cleaning. The people in the area have to clean their surroundings. Fines for littering need to be instituted too, for that is a big problem. Read this email. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Actually, good night.
Good night, my dear.
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I just here listening, Patrick. Actually, I want to say tonight, right, that we supporters, right, sometimes we just have to listen and just make sure things is true, because what was going on between the unity ministers or the prime minister, nobody knows. People just say things and sometimes it ain't true. People that just make up things and just hype up people and just make people saying things. We don't want to bring that to the supporters.
Okay, but having said that, having said that, though, what do you think about the abandoned buildings we're talking about, though? I understand what you said.
the abandoned building, they might think I need to do what I have to do because if nobody paying a tax on them and they just, yeah, I do what I got to do. So, you know, give them look, now I won't say 3 months. Give them up to 6 months to a year. If nobody respond, then I do what I got to do because these things happen a lot of, I don't even know what to say, garbage and all them, especially up Newtown. Newtown have a lot. And then some of these people, they're just moving in them and then they occupy people place. So do what I got to do. I'm a local, and if somebody gonna come from Timbuk to a moving in an abandoned house and ending up owning it, I could do the same too. So do what I have to do. People want a place to live.
Okay. Got you loud
and this thing about who want to talk, let them talk, people gonna always talk. Whoever wants to be the Prime Minister, the deal was after the Prime Minister.
I got you on that already. So I got you on that already, so we don't need to go back to that one.
Okay.
Not tonight.
I just have to go back there because you have cut me off. After Timothy Harris was a Bishan, right?
That is correct. Okay, got you.
People can always...
I've got you, Jackie. I've got you, Jackie. I've got you on that. We run on time. I want to get some information.
I'm going to finish now, okay?
Yeah, but let's talk about the abandoned
houses.
houses.
Said that nothing was going on in PAM. PAM, PLP, and CCM, the three parties come together and form a team. I is a strong member of the PAM and a very strong member of the team unity.
Okay.
I love Prime Minister Harris to the Prime Minister, and the deal was after his neck. But people going to always talk. We don't know if what people saying is true.
Okay, got you.
Want to go and with that. That is, I'm going to finish.
But you said that about 3 times. You said that about 3 times.
We need to just let things lie down and put things to it. I don't want a problem in the past.
I got you loud and clear. I got you loud and clear, my warrior from the east.
Let me send a message to Sylvie. Sister Sylvie, the lady in St. Christ says she's trying to get you and she cannot get you.
Okay.
So this is her number. Let me send the number to Sylvie, please. 340-692-2901. That's the lady number. Patches, good night. Let me speak because I don't like what's going on, this pulling and tugging. It's just annoying. Very annoying.
I've got you on that. You said that so many times. We got you loud and clear.
Okay.
Thanks for your input.
Good night, Patches.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, my dear. Good night, Patches. The government should pass in the House giving the owners at least a year to make claims to those buildings in Bastia to have them clean and developed, and if no response, the government should value the property and put the money on an account. Also, the owners of those properties in Bastia should at least paint the buildings, keep the city looking beautiful. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Okay, let's take this other call. Caller, you are live.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Good night, Honorable.
Good night.
Patches Liburd.
Your humble servant. Good night, sir.
And also,
Welch.
all of your listeners to your program. Mr. Liburd, when garbage disposal is an issue of concern, then we cannot just talk. Because garbage disposal is a must. And when a good plan is not put in place for the removal of the garbage that is being littered, such as what is mentioned about the situation in Irish Town, Bastia, also at the old Fort Thomas Hotel ground, or on the side roads in Newtown, Bastia, all of this speak to the need for a better plan for garbage removal all around the country. Remember I said before that garbage disposal is a must. So we can't get away from that. Now there's a process called managerial oversight, which I would like to recommend for all of our constituency representatives to do their work effectively. Managerial oversight could be applied to, if I go to the media, yes, it can be applied to the media. It could be applied to agricultural development and also to community development. Because there is always the talk about some PEP workers who just start
at a particular time and then end when they should be on the job. There's the managerial oversight lacking. I would not say any more for now. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for your input. Mr. Welsh, this emailer, I'm not going to read the first part to his makes no need to do that. I think that this talk about St. Kitts and Nevis is overdone and should end. We are all one people. I do not have any relatives as Nevisians, but I love Nevisians just I love Kittitians. We should be bridging the gap and one Caribbean, one people. It seems as though the unity supporters do not understand what the word unity means. So here's what it means. Unity is being together at one with someone or something. It is the opposite of being divided. This is a word for togetherness or oneness. When the North won the Civil War, it showed the unity of the United States. I do agree with the caller. Mr. Richards does not project a good image for a government minister, and more so the Deputy Prime Minister. Do better with your haircut, Mr. Richards, just a word of advice. It's very strange that some people don't accept other views, and that's their right, but at least you should respect them. But then at the in the same token, you criticize. You know, it's very interesting. But this program is about straight talk. It's about a national dialogue, and we'll have our different views, and we will entertain our different views, even if you criticize the host. I've been criticized by an email, and I read them. So what if somebody criticizes another public officer? That's what straight talk is all about. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah. Good night, Mr. Patches again. Now let me explain a little thing here to you. Now we have the government who doing the testings and different things like that.
Yeah, lost that caller. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller. Yeah, let's take this other. Are you there, caller?
That's it.
So.
Good night.
Good night, my dear brother.
And how are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Okay. That's it. Do not rock your brains. Listen here. God, the creator of the whole universe, he take up and he pull down. And he see that the Mr. Douglas was doing what is wrong, and God didn't like it. So God removed him and bring Mr. Harris. And I can tell you something here. Listen here. Since Mr. Harris get the prime ministership, and every time, watch it, Mr. Battis, every time you hear that a storm is coming to St. Kitts, when you reach closer, you either divert or far from us. You know why? Because there's a godly man is ruling the country. And the word of God said, God judge the righteous, but he angry with the wicked every day. And I am not going to talk too long, but I am telling you, every time Mr. Harris is going to say something, and when he finish, he give the creator of the whole universe praise out of his mouth. And God like to hear that. So I am telling you that the honest man
to rule this country just at a time like this is Mr. Harris. And nobody, and I say that again, nobody can move Mr. Harris. And Mr. Harris had to listen to what the Lord is talking to him. And he are listening to what, and God is depending on him because he are doing what the Lord wants. And Mr. Patches, you are doing what God put you to do, to look after the poor people, and God is going to bless you mightily. Thank you very much, Mr. Patches.
Thank you for your input as well, my dear brother. At 7 before 10 o'clock, as we wind on, Patches reads this email. You said, talk the truth. But are some people really talking the truth? I've been listening to a lot of talk of disunity over the past weeks, and it's reaching a point where I'm getting fed up and might even stop listening to the program. That's your right, my brother. That lady from Sandy Point must bear in mind that she alone, or she and her family, cannot elect a government. She needs to simmer down a bit. She or no man is an island. That's so correct as well. 7 before 10, caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good night, my dear beloved brother.
My dear
Excellency.
My
How are
dear
you?
beloved sister, I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to send forth the greetings to Honorable Eugene Hamilton. And I would like to agree with everything Marsha said tonight. She has spoken. Everything she says, she right. And I would like you to be careful. No eat nothing from nobody. The Prime Minister, no eat nothing from nobody. We have some sheep in wolf clothing. They make sure they greet you, they grin. And the Prime Minister, sometimes I see no push them now. You understand? When they make sure they do the same thing, and they don't mean it. Sheep in wolf clothing. You give them a job to do, and they want to take it role like Prime Minister. They get a message, they wouldn't take it. They might Prime Minister. You are the minister, and they want to be the minister. And they are being employed. Anyway, I just want to thank you and thank the Lord for a unity government and pray that everything work according to plan. The best government in the entire Caribbean will take care of the COVID, looking after the people. He's looking after the people. Anyway, you have a good night and safe journey home. Good night, bye.
Thank you for your input. At 5 before 10 o'clock, in the event you join us, believe it or not, we looked at our nation's health, which is our nation's wealth. And that declaration that the nation's health is a nation's wealth is as much a statement that is personal as it is a national concern. It is said that health is but a part of economic planning in any country, whether the country has a large economy or a small open one like ours here in St. Kitts. In every country, irrespective of size, there is, it seems, an unavoidable genesis of ill health, and therein lies the struggle for governments to deliver health care that is affordable to all of its citizens. That feat is very impossible for governments, and more so our own team unity government, given the demographic profile of our country and the impact that such a profile will have on our national finances. The discussion has already begun in relation to a national health scheme here in St. Kitts Nevis, and this demonstrates that your team unity government understands the importance of the nation's health. That is an integral part of the socio-economic framework of the Federation. But the proposition that the health of a nation is the wealth of the nation has a heavy focus on national productivity. My Stray Dog family, Team Unity has restored much in this country. I submit we need to promote a healthy environment in order to prevent conditions that make it more difficult for a person to do certain activities or interact with the world around them. Our health is our wealth, and what is being reported is not good for the Federation, as we heard this report as well tonight. Let's take this.
I am asking you, please, get the environment minister, no inspector on your program, or get a couple hours of your busy schedule, go around the town with him. It's very dirty, especially McKnight where I am living. People who listening will say, if that's something to say, let them come to live or see where I am living. If nobody talk, nothing will do. But I have to talk. There is where I am living. That is one, the minister that dear get elected for. If the borders have to open up, they cannot and must not come back, meet the town like that.
Yes, I'll take perhaps these two final calls before I wrap tonight. Caller, you live.
Good night,
Good night, my dear.
Mr. Ambassador.
Your humble servant. Good night.
I just called to tell you good night.
How sweet of you, my dear.
Safe drive home.
Thank you.
And no weapon formed against you.
Shall prosper.
My Honorable Prime Minister and Mr. Sean Richards and Kayla Byron Nisbet, Honorable Kayla Byron Nisbet, shall prosper. Any evil tongue rise up in judgment against you all shall be condemned. Don't worry what people say. They're going to talk and they're going to talk. But while the Lord give my Prime Minister life, he's going to live out his second term, which it was 4 term, it was 5 term. He's going for 5 years. Another 5 years. He could have gone for another 5 years. But anyhow, he ain't greedy. He said 2 terms when they put him up to be the leader. But now they're stabbing him in his back. But he can take them on. He could take them on. So I'm not worrying. Again, safe drive home. I pray the Lord cover you all with his blood and protect you all from the hands of the wicked enemies. Build a fence around you all with his blood from the hands of the enemies. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Love you very much, my cousin.
I love you more, my dear.
Yes.
Thanks a lot for your input. You know, I want to say this quite frankly. I love to see Sean's haircut, you know. It looks it's sort of unique to me, right? And I don't know what you think, but that is my view. I love to see his, what you call it, the tomahawk. Believe it or not. Call it life. Yes, I love to see the deputy's tomahawk. I hope I don't offend anyone by saying that, but that is my view. His tomahawk look, you know, modern haircut. Greetings, sir.
Good night to you, and Ambassador. How you night, guys?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
I give thanks for listening to your program and seeing your dialogue where you emphasize and you start in your program. A healthy nation is a healthy nation. A wealthy nation, a healthy nation, but I realize not for the people are straying away from the discussion. So I would like to emphasize that these things that we need to bring forward in the farmer to make sure that we have a stable and a wealthy and a positive nation to go forth for the next generation. Must emphasize in it that we make sure the generation don't be bringing this delittering process onto the shores of our nation development. Because it's right around the island we are talking about, and not just in a vast region, you know. Right through the island of St. Kitts and Nevis as a federation, as we stated, the whole complex of our state, of our affairs are nasty. And for us to really clean up the act, we need to know to respect and level our core with one another. And we don't show that we have no readiness for development to see a safeguard of a healthy and a wealthy nation. And that is my point for tonight. You all have a safe journey going home, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you, dear brother. Thanks for your input. I'm going to take this and make this my last call if you can use 10 seconds caller. Can you?
I'll take less than that, sir.
Oh,
Now let me explain something to you. We have a government here, a very strong government and a caring government. You see what they do with the COVID-19 and so on. Now, that's what the gentleman is talking about. They advertise, I know they had them test until the other day, I saw it on television in the States. But the Federation don't require that. You have to get a 72 hours test. That is what the Federation, no when you're born here and you this here and you this here, if somebody come in and then forbid somebody else get sick and all of that, they're going to say, well, they had a rapid test and they let them in the country. Okay. And later again, you're blaming the Prime Minister. Okay. I feel sorry for the young man, you know.
Okay, I got you, my brother. I got you.
You understand me? I feel sorry for him, but you got to realize his laws and rules here in the Federation.
Okay, my brother.
Good night, sir.
Thanks a lot for your input. And my Straight Talk family, that's the way we're going to end it tonight, because my time is done and I got to run. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, and as always, I want to thank you, the many callers who called, and even those who attempted to call. I do apologize if you did not get in. I want to thank those on social media, YouTube and my Facebook, massive. I want to thank those on radio as well. ZIZ Radio 96.1, the nation's station. And I want to thank my producer, Bevan Wilkinson, and others. I want to as well thank my good lady friend. I almost slipped her name tonight, but perhaps it's a good thing because maybe I should not call it, but a good news reporter there on radio. My Straight Talk family, remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that I say a big, big thank you. Remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But of course, you first got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk, have yourselves the best of what's left of tonight. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.